ballads, shanties, and Britcoms. When you think of England and traditional music, some folks might think of sea shanties, or Christmas carols, or folk ballads. However, while these are an integral part of English music and national identity, there is so much more to the rich tapestry of English music and dance. And the modern age has a wealth of English artists and talent for anyone's taste. Types of music. Classical. Classical music is not solely the purview of continental Europe. Composers such as Henry Purcell, Edward Elgar, Ralph Vaughan Williams, Benjamin Britten, Judith Weir, and Thomas Aids all hail from England. Folk music. English folk music, an important part of the country's musical heritage, dates back centuries and is a reflection of the culture, history, and spirit of the people. Characterized by its distinct regional variations, the genre includes diverse forms such as dance music, ballads, lullabies, love songs, as well as moral and philosophical songs. Traditional English folk music is often defined by its simple melodies and narratives, sometimes inspired by historical events, rural life, or love stories, with many songs passed down orally from generation to generation. The genre saw significant revivals in the 20th century, most notably in the mid-1900s, which rejuvenated interest and introduced it to new audiences. It also led to the creation of new subgenres such as folk rock, with bands like Fairport Convention and Stile Span combining elements of rock music with traditional folk. Notable artists include Bert Jansch, Nick Drake, Billy Bragg, Kate Rusby, Cat Stevens, John Martin, Medieval Babes, The Imagined Village, and Ed Sheeran. Scrumpy and Western. Scrumpy and Western music is a unique subgenre of music that originated in the West Country of England. The term scrumpy refers to a type of cloudy cider traditionally made in the region. Scrumpy and Western music blends elements of English folk music with humorous lyrics often themed around rural life, local dialects, and the consumption of cider. Notable bands in this genre include the Wurtzels, who achieved national fame in the UK with their hit Combine Harvester in 1976. Despite being relatively niche, Scrumpy and Western music has a dedicated following and is a distinctive part of the West Country's cultural identity. Rock. While America is the source of rock and roll, the British ran with the concept, and in the mid-1960s, there was a British invasion of rock music. Early stars included Cliff Richard and, of course, the Beatles. Other notable bands include the Moody Blues, the Animals, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, and Herman's Hermits. As the genre grew and matured, bands such as Led Zeppelin, Cream, and Fleetwood Mac added their bluesy, psychedelic, and experimental sounds. In the 1970s, England provided talents such as Elton John, David Bowie, The Who, and Queen. Other subgenres formed, such as glam rock, progressive rock, heavy metal, punk rock, and new wave. Those gave way to gothic rock, dream pop, Britpop, and new rave. Punk. Emerging in the mid-1970s, punk rock had short, fast-paced songs with hard-edged melodies and raw instrumentation. A lot of themes were rebellious against the establishment, and many were independently produced. Punk rock, though it began in the United States, created a movement that spread worldwide. Notable artists include The Clash, Sex Pistols, Ramones, and Buzzcocks. Electronic/dance. Gaining ground in the 1990s, electronic music encompasses subgenres such as synthpop, techno, trance, trip-hop, dubstep, and industrial. Some artists include Pet Shop Boys, Massive Attack, The Chemical Brothers, Eurythmics, Underworld, and The Prodigy. Pop. Pop is a broad term, simply meaning popular, but that generally has catchy lyrics and melody, and typically young, attractive singers. Bands such as Oasis, the Spice Girls, Dua Lipa, Harry Styles, Adele, and Amy Winehouse are some examples of this style, though there are so many more, too many to list here. The dancing. English dancing is steeped in a rich tradition that spans centuries, reflecting the evolution of the country's social and cultural landscape. From the elegant steps of courtly dances to the hearty energy of folk dances, English dance is a vibrant form of expression that continues to engage audiences. Traditional English dance forms include country dances, Morris dancing, and maypole dancing. The country dances were extremely popular in the 17th and 18th centuries and often involved groups of couples forming geometric patterns and dancing in sequences, similar to square dancing in the United States. Morris dance, a ritual folk dance typically performed on ceremonial occasions, is distinctive for its use of props like sticks, swords, and handkerchiefs, and is often seen at festivals. English dancing has taken on new dimensions with the influence of various international styles, ballet, and modern dance forms. English social dances, or barn dances, remain popular for their inclusive, community-building spirit and often feature elements of various folk traditions. Today's dance performances in England also encompass a wide array of genres, including hip-hop, contemporary, jazz, and many more. Ballet has a significant place in English dance culture as well, with world-renowned institutions like the Royal Ballet shaping the nation's classical dance heritage. The diversity and adaptability of English dancing speak to the country's openness to cross-cultural influences and ongoing creative evolution. Finding the music. Pubs are the community living room in England. It's a place where people gather to relax, socialize, and talk about their day. Perhaps they complain about the weather, share some funny stories, toast a pint, and listen to some music. You can find them in every size and description across the country. Do keep in mind that not all have music, not all serve food. Often this stops around 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., and none allow smoking inside, since 2006. Sometimes there is an outdoor beer garden to accommodate those who must light up. Children can be welcome in the early evenings, and sometimes well-behaved dogs. While you must be 18 to purchase alcohol, children as young as 14 are welcome if the pub has a children's license, as long as they don't drink alcohol. Any children must be accompanied by an adult, and may be restricted to certain areas, such as the restaurant area of the pub. Once the food is no longer served, however, the children are usually no longer allowed. Pubs, especially in the less populated areas, might not be open during mid-afternoon hours, say between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Some may close for the winter season. There are several website resources I've listed in the appendix that might help you find the perfect pub for some lovely traditional music. A session could mean a solo performer, a group of 20 taking turns or playing together, or anything in between. These are not usually professional performers, but locals who just love playing, and often tourists joining in. Their performances are not polished, but they are genuine in a way that set shows are not. If you bring your own instrument and/or your voice, you will be welcome to join. Music likely won't start until around 9 or 10 p.m. each night, but do get there earlier, as space is at a premium. We prefer to find B&Bs that are within staggering distance of a pub with music, so there are no worries about drinking and driving. Most advertised traditional music nights in the bigger hotels are staged performances, with dancers and singers with honed skills. They may be slick professional performers, but they're still fun. Some of the places in Edinburgh known for good traditional music include Sandy Bell's, Royal Oak Bar and the Wee Folk Club. Literature, shows and movies. Many books, television shows, and movies have made their home in England. Not only those based on the rich history of the land, but those with some fantasy or literary license. I've listed a few of them below, with a list of places where you can visit scenes from the work. While the scope of this book is not large enough to make an exhaustive list, I've listed some of my favorites. Movies. Harry Potter, The Magical Stories of Hogwarts was brought to life in films. The majority of the films were shot in England, and some in Ireland. Some English locations were Alnwick Castle, Gloucester Cathedral, Christ Church College, Leiden Haymarket, and King's Cross Station. Sherlock Holmes, most treatments of these iconic stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle have been filmed in England, primarily in London. The recent Guy Ritchie interpretations also include Bath and Bristol. The King's Speech. Most of this movie about King George VI was filmed in London, though parts were at Halton House, Ely Cathedral, and the Old Royal Naval College in Greenwich. Pride and Prejudice. This Jane Austen classic is another story that has been filmed multiple times, but usually in England. Anywhere in the countryside has been fair game. Chatsworth House, Storehead Garden, and Basildon Park have played host to recent filming. Notting Hill, as the title implies, most of this romantic comedy with Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts was filmed in the Notting Hill district of West London. James Bond. There are lots of English locations for these films, but here are a few of them. No Time to Die, Whitehall, London. GoldenEye / The World Is Not Enough / Die Another Day / Skyfall / Spectre, Vauxhall Cross SIS Building, London. Die Another Day, Eden Project, Cornwall and Bourton-on-the-Water, Cotswolds. Goldfinger / Tomorrow Never Dies, Stoke Park, Buckinghamshire. Love Actually. This iconic romantic comedy was mostly in London, including Somerset House, Downing Street, Heathrow Airport, Oxford Street, and Gabriel's Wharf. Oh, and Notting Hill. Hot Fuzz. This action comedy is set in a fictional quaint English village, but was filmed in Somerset, the Crown Pub, Wells, Bishop's Palace, the Barn Theatre, Hertfordshire, and Hendon. The Theory of Everything. This biopic followed the life of Stephen Hawking. It was set and filmed in Cambridgeshire, London, Middlesex, and a few others. The beach scenes were at Camber Sands and the Bluebell Railway in Sussex. Billy Elliot. This powerful story about a boy who dreams of being a ballet dancer was set in northeast England. The school scenes in this film were shot in Langley Park Primary School. Other filming locations include the Green Drive Railway Viaduct in Seaham, Tees Transporter Bridge, New Wardour Castle, and Theatre Royal in Haymarket. The Full Monty. Since this comedy drama was set in the industrial city of Sheffield, it makes sense that the majority of filming was there. A few exterior shots were in Chesterfield, Derbyshire at the Millthorpe Working Men's Club. Television series. Downton Abbey, a drama set in a historical English estate, Highclere Castle, exploring the lives of both the aristocratic Crawley family and their servants. The Crown. This Netflix original series dramatizes the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, filmed in various locations around the UK. Doctor Who, a long-running science fiction series, filmed in various locations but often featuring London landmarks. Peaky Blinders, a crime drama set in post-World War I Birmingham. Black Mirror, a dystopian anthology series that often features English settings and actors. Broadchurch, a crime drama set in a fictional small town in Dorset. Luther, a psychological crime drama set in London, featuring Idris Elba. Top Gear, a highly popular car-focused series filmed around the UK and internationally. Just about any Britcom ever. There are just too many to mention, but some of my favorites are Vicar of Dibley, Turville, Fawlty Towers, Torquay, and Waiting for God, Farmer. Authors. Classic. William Shakespeare, a prolific author who wrote many plays and poems. He's widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. Jane Austen, a novelist primarily known for books such as Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and Sense and Sensibility, mostly dealing with social standings and the plight of women in a world run by the patriarchy. Charles Dickens. Some of our most beloved tales today were written by Dickens, such as Oliver Twist and A Christmas Carol. Known for portraying gritty life in Victorian London and memorable characters, he tackled many issues such as poor social or working conditions. George Orwell. Orwell's real name was Eric Arthur Blair, and wrote several dystopian novels in criticism of societal failings, such as Animal Farm in 1984. Virginia Woolf. She pioneered the use of stream of consciousness as a narrative device, and wrote books such as Orlando, A Room of One's Own, and Dalloway. J.R.R. Tolkien. A professor at Oxford, Tolkien was a linguist and philologist. His high fantasy works The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings defined the entire genre. Agatha Christie. Still the best-selling author other than the Bible and Shakespeare, Christy defined the mystery genre. Movies and shows are still made from her books. Emily Brontë, her novel, Wuthering Heights, is an enduring classic and portrayed mental and physical abuse in a new light for her time. She published poetry with her sisters Charlotte and Anne, well known in their own right. Risk. S. Lewis, a close friend of J.R.R. Tolkien's, Lewis wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, an eternal classic for young adults. He also wrote many books with a spiritual bent, such as Mere Christianity and Miracles. Authors, modern. J.K. Rowling, known for writing the Harry Potter series, which has become the best-selling book series in history. Ian McEwan, a highly regarded contemporary novelist, his works include Atonement, Amsterdam, and Enduring Love. Neil Gaiman, a prolific author known for his work in various genres, including fantasy, horror, and children's literature. His notable works include American Gods, Coraline, and the Sandman graphic novels. Zadie Smith gained fame with her debut novel White Teeth. She is also known for On Beauty and Swing Time. Hilary Mantel, she is the first woman to win the Man Booker Prize twice, for her novels Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies, part of a trilogy about Thomas Cromwell. Kazuo Ishiguro, born in Japan, but moved to England at a young age, he has written several acclaimed novels, including The Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2017. Philip Pullman, he is best known for his Dark Materials trilogy, which includes The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. Jeanette Winterson, her first book, Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, won her the Whitbread Prize for first novel. Her other works include Sexing the Cherry and Written on the Body. Sarah Waters, known for her novels set in Victorian society and featuring lesbian protagonists, such as Tipping the Velvet and Fingersmith. Kate Atkinson, she has gained fame with both her standalone novels and her series featuring Detective Jackson Brodie. Her books include Life After Life, A God in Ruins, and Case Histories.